I want to welcome to the program right now Dr. Ana Nogales.
What do you think of the Rorschach test?
Wait. Dr. Nogales is with us. She's written a book called Parents Who Cheat. A lot of you know her from your La Opinion column that you do, etc. Parents Who Cheat raises a question because infidelity is discussed all the time. Rarely is the effect...
Everywhere.
Yes, all the magazines.
Rarely is the effect on children, and interestingly, even adult children, ever discussed.
Right, because we never talk about infidelity and how it affects children. We talk about divorce and how it affects children, or about infidelity and how it affects him or her, but what about children?
Now, are you talking about infidelity when the parents screw around and then they stay together and the kids know, or they screw around and then it ends the marriage?
Both.
All of the above.
Interesting. I did a survey, and I have more than 800 respondents to my survey, and 80% of the parents stay together, did not divorce.
80%?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, 58%.
A lot of kids,
58%.
they stay together for the kids.
They stay together.
No. They stay together. They may be happily married even.
They may be happy or they may not be happy.
But
That's
somebody gets
interesting.
caught cheating.
Right.
So what happens to the kids?
What happens to the kids?
They end up cheating.
Well, infidelity cheats children too. That's the whole thing. Children feel that they have been betrayed too. They become angry. They become confused. They don't know what to do. They know that what is right, what is wrong, because mom and dad told them what is right and what is wrong. And suddenly they find that mom or dad have lied. So how do they interpret that? Things that may be wrong now. Parents are doing that. So what is the image about this?
Do the parents tell the kids?
Well, sometimes they find out by themselves. And we were talking about these things.
Internet.
A lot of children find out through to texting, the internet. They figure out something is happening.
Nogales,
they don't know if they should tell parents or not tell parents.
You say 58% stay together. I will challenge that only because people who haven't got caught will often lie whether they've cheated or not. So those percentages may actually be low compared to the real numbers.
Maybe. What is interesting is that it's easier for children or for adult children to trust parents again and to forgive parents when they do divorce than when they do not.
Oh, that's
interesting. And the hardest thing is for children to have a relationship with the parents when they stay together, but they keep cheating, of course.
Do they take sides? The children tend to take sides?
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
When children are involved in the relationship of their parents, when the parents tell them, please don't tell mom or please don't tell dad, and they get them involved, that's
horrible.
That's
gross. Selfish that parents do that.
Always say, well, we're staying together for the children. And you're saying that's not necessarily the best thing for the children.
That is not necessarily the best thing. The best thing is if they can be truthful to each other and they can be truthful to the children, then that's the best thing. So
what children are what age children, though?
Well,
you don't say, come here, my 8-year-old son, I want to tell you something. You don't
but I find out by themselves.
No.
They intuitively know, or they know that it's a crisis between mom and dad, or they finally figure out that, there's a third person, a woman or a man, or sometimes both of them cheat. It's interesting, and also it affects most women than men, according to my study. Women apparently are more affected when dad is a cheater, but they are not that much affected when mom is a cheater.
The kids are not as affected when mom cheats?
Not as affected. Girls.
And boys,
girls are relating to mom.
They identify with mom easier, and they sometimes justify it. But
they get mad at daddy.
They get mad at daddy. And when it's a boy, they can't tolerate when mom is a cheater. But it's kind of more okay when dad is a cheater. So that's very culturally biased, I think. But what is also interesting, listen to this. According to my study, 87% of my respondents said it's not okay to cheat. 96% said, they do believe in monogamy. But still, 44% of those respondents, even when they know how hurtful, how painful it is, they cheat themselves.
Because they couldn't help themselves or something?
You have human beings involved here.
Yeah,
we're very complicated and contradictory.
And they know it's wrong. They're willing to say it's wrong, but they still do it.
Yeah. In some way, they are trying to figure out what happened and what is it. Trying to resolve unfinished business from their parents. But what is most interesting about this is that we know that there are more men cheaters than women, right?
So who are the men cheating with?
60 for men and 25-30 for women.
Yeah, who are the men cheating with?
Single women.
Yeah.
So
they do cheat with single women too, Steve. They don't just cheat with other
single women,
married women.
But
I thought the point was the gap was being closed on that.
Women and men cheat in the same way. when they are children of infidelity. 44%, same thing for both men and
Wow.
women.
If
That's
your
what is
parents
very
cheat,
Because they're
important.
both miserable in their marriage.
Yeah, and a lot of women go into becoming the mistress because they don't want to be the victim like mom was.
And also, let me just go back to what you say. People cheat because they're miserable in their marriage. That's not true.
No, that's not true. No,
Well, why do they
that's a
cheat?
myth.
They're insecure?
Biological imperative. How's that?
Imperative.
All
For
right.
sure, it's not in the DNA. So they cheat because it's a crisis,
And
or
they're
because
insecure.
they want to be good.
They need to
insecure.
feel-
No, you know, the men say we have to propagate until we're 90. We have to keep going.
But then what do the women say? What do the women say?
Just get out of my house.
They're
you
bored.
fake.
No, but they
I
screw
want
around
to feel
because
good.
they're
You know,
bored.
my husband is not really paying that much
Attention.
Right, and they want
Attention.
to feel sexy, and they
Or
love
feel
it.
loved.
They have a lover. They
My
have
host
a
isn't
lot of
paying
women
any
take on
attention
younger
to me.
lovers.
Parents who
pretend
cheat.
more than men. Well,
Parents who cheat is the. Let's get the name of the book in.
Parents who cheat, and they
Dr.
talk about forgiveness, which is very important
Which
in
is
this
the key
book.
part of it. Dr. Ana Nogales, thank you.